Starting. All right, so we are live. Hey, what's going on, guys? I am live right now with Anthony Estrella, and we are about to start talking about eBay drop shipping. And as you can hear, probably in the background, I got my other monitor, so you guys can ask any questions. Me and Anthony Estrella have been drop shipping now for a while. Anthony has gotten his store up to, what was it, Anthony? Over 30,000 already?
Yeah, so last 31, I've been about 38 to 40. Oh, whoops. Didn't mean to put that on. About 38 to 41 over the last 31 days. It's kind of been fluctuating.
Awesome. That's what's up, man. So yeah, we're just right now, I think we're pretty much still two lone wolves that are working with eBay accounts that have been flagged and trying to keep those running. So that's a good thing. And I kind of just wanted to touch base with everybody on that. As far as everything goes right now, I'm in the works of putting out another video about accounting for my eBay drop shipping flagged account. So if anybody's wondering on how to keep track of all that and stay on top of it, that's going to be coming out soon. It's been a wild ride. I think what I'm doing is a little bit harder for a lot of people to understand, but I'm just going to try and give like everything I know how to do all in one spot for you guys, so you guys can just like have it and just understand it. With the eBay throttling, it's definitely gotten, more complicated, but it seems like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So in a couple of the groups that I'm in, for Sale Freaks, I'm fortunate enough to be in some pretty high top groups with them. They actually had a guy who's based off in the EU, I want to say, not the UK. So I made this mistake earlier. So he's based off in the EU, and he actually posted an article today about how in the EU they're trying to regulate marketplaces for eBay drop shipping, which I thought was like crazy news. And I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on and like how that's affecting everybody. So what it said in this article, and I'll try and tag it later, was that in the EU, they are actually regulating all the marketplaces that small sellers sell on. So two of the key concepts that I had taken out from that were you're not going to be just banned for no reason anymore, which I thought was amazing, because like now a software company or a marketplace cannot just be like, hey, you're doing something against our terms of service and we're not feeling comfortable with you, so we're just going to ban you because we don't like what you're doing. Like they have to have a legit reason. It's got to be written down. Everybody's got to know what's going on. So like I thought that was pretty cool. And another thing is your metrics and your market statistics. So traffic is going to be more understandable. So give me a second, guys.
Did you guys get flagged? No, I haven't been flagged yet, Ty.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, I'm sorry, Anthony. I thought.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm kidding. That was a good joke, because I was like, holy crap, man, how are you still doing that? That's awesome. But all right, I was also going to say that they are working on increasing, making the traffic similar for everybody. So it's not going to be as volatile as it was. So as for right now, like it's incredibly volatile, the traffic, because with a flagged account, your listings go towards the end, which if you really want to talk about is pretty unfair, because you're paying the same amount for less traffic as everybody else is. So that's pretty illegal if you want to ask me.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is legal and how this company is still getting away with it, because it's kind of crazy. So that's all I wanted to say about that. So there is good news coming out at the back of the pipe end. So if you guys just keep focusing and just keep grinding, these more new things are going to come out. Also, they just got rid of their senior vice president. They just fired him, so which is pretty crazy too. I don't know if you knew this, Anthony.
Oh, I did not know that. Wow.
So there's big changes. I get a lot of this information. I'm with a couple of the top guys, and this has been sourcing for the past 2 days. There's been like a couple of heavy pieces of information and articles that were released over the past 2 days. So Devin Wenning is still the CEO, but they also just got rid of their SVP. So that's pretty good news too. So just giving you guys an indication that eBay, it seems as though they're realizing like, hey, we royally fucked up. We're not getting enough, traffic. We're not doing enough for our buyers, and we're not doing enough for our sellers. So they're actually moving people and changing up their company to better serve us in the upcoming future. So I just want to drop that little tidbit of news on you. So Anthony, without any more interruption by me, let's get talking about you, man. So I actually just want to talk to you for a minute about your eBay dropshipping journey. Like, how'd you get started? How did you find eBay dropshipping?
Give me 1 second. My speaker's freaking out right now. Hold on.
All good, man. These are things that you guys get when you go live. So it's all happening right now. It's all good. And if you guys got questions, hit us up in the chat. I'm actually reading them right here. Ty's in here. Yo, what's up, Ty? He's asking if we get flagged. Yes, we did. New haircut. Anthony, Ty's liking your new haircut, man. And Wholesale Direct says, what's up? What's up? Anthony is in his closet. Yes, he is. It looks like he's got his whole setup, so it looks pretty cool.
It's super weird.
What's
can you
up?
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I don't know why, but my volume is like really weird. I'm gonna throw some headphones on because this is like, yeah, my speaker is like really weird. Hold on 1 second.
No problem. Yeah, guys. So, all right. So I'll talk a little bit more about what I'm doing right now. So as you know, I'm still making moves with Sale Freaks, just killing it over there. Still doing pretty good. I'm still holding solid. What I've generated so far by checking my profits using Accountobot and double checking with just Excel sheets just to make sure is that I'm still doing about an average of $100 per day, a little bit over most days. So like between $107 and $130 profit per day, which I know is on the lower end, but it's still pretty good. So what you got to realize is still like profit is profit. So we'll still turn in profit using Sale Freak software. A lot of my items are coming with open box, and I'm also doing a majority of new items that are just released, and what's it called again? New items at really low percent margins, sometimes negative. You got to play with your negatives too. Use that cashback card to your advantage. You got to know your margins. Like, your percentages are a huge deal. So that's what I have been doing. Also with Sale Freaks, they also have the coupon hunter. I know a lot of guys were complaining about it today. I think it's because they really don't know how to use it, because I know when I first started with Sale Freaks and I was using their coupon hunter, I had a very big issue in the beginning. A lot of those issues stemmed from not understanding how to really market those coupon hunter items. I think what you guys really need to do with your coupon hunter is go as low on the profit side as you can, if that makes any sense, because you're going to make it up with the coupon. So I would say test your margins and really double check to make sure like you guys could actually make a profit. So if your item's just sitting there and it's not doing anything, you're not making money anyway. So you might as well just test it and go as low as you can to see if you can turn a profit. And if you can, that's how I would utilize it. So that's how I'm getting it. Before we go back to Anthony, I just want to see Ty is asking. He's saying, nice work. Thanks, Ty. He says, are you doing a lot of open box? Definitely a lot of open box. Majority of my items are definitely open box because they produce the highest amount of return usually. The margins are a lot higher on open box items. So I'm a big fan of open box items. With that being said, am I skipping out on new items? Better believe not. I'm definitely doing new items as well. Working with those a lot, very often. And I got those fluctuating through and out my store too, along with Coupon Hunter. I was using Sales Hunter at the time. I'm not proficient enough with Sales Hunter, so I'm not going to go that route right now. But I am also looking into Hip Shipper. Jonathan has hit me up multiple times, and he's talked me into it, and he's telling me how great of a software it is. As long as Intuit, if you guys don't know, Intuit is another top drop shipper, and I talk to him a lot of times on Sale Freaks, and I know he uses it as well, so I'll probably hit him up and see his opinion on it. And just one more thing. Ty's asking, are you doing a lot of open box? Definitely a lot of open box. A lot of returns. Is it worth it? It's definitely worth it. Higher margins. Are there a lot of returns? Depending on the quality of the item. So I sell anywhere from like, top quality to the lowest that it can go. On the lower qualities, you're going to have more returns, but generally it's about, a decent return rate. So my returns are semi-high, but I only have two categories right now. Actually, only one category where I have a 4% margin, and that's eBay Motors. Like eBay Motors for me, for whatever reason, is just giving me like the biggest pain in the butt. So that's where I'm working right now. And eBay Motors is just like, it's annoying. I can't get that metric down. It's just like, what the hell? Every other one, perfectly fine. My metrics are squared away. Don't have to worry about it. So we're going to get back to Anthony now. I think he's all squared up. He's got his headphones, and we're just going to rock it. So Anthony, my main question, what I was really going to ask right now is, how did you get started with eBay dropshipping? Like, how did you stumble upon it, and where'd you find it?
Yeah, for sure. So sorry about that. Something happened with my audio. But yeah, we're good to go. Anyway, so I've been selling on eBay technically for about 8 years now. And how I got started was my first company that I started while I was in college. I ended up having it manufactured overseas in China. And when that item ended up not working out, I had built up kind of a Rolodex of various suppliers in trying to source my manufacturer for my own item. That they all started reaching back out to me with different types of products from different industries. And at that time, what was really big, I want to say this is maybe 2012, maybe 2012, 2013. That's when like a lot of the vape pens, like the Snoop Dogg pens, all that stuff was starting to become extremely popular. And so what I started doing was I just started slowly importing that stuff. And I would probably order like $500 at a time. And I was probably maybe getting like 2 to 3 shipments a month, I would say. And I was selling them on eBay. Now, obviously, it's extremely against eBay's terms of service. And they actually ended up canceling a lot of my items for the types of items they were. So I was able to find a workaround for it, but it was just becoming extremely exhausting to try to do that. So I was like, okay, well, let's move on to another industry. So then I just started importing like e-cigarette items, and I was selling those on eBay, which was also against their terms of service. So eventually, long story short, what happened was they ended up suspending my account. But they suspended my account because I had fallen below standard and I wasn't meeting the metrics, which I really wasn't, because I was having to pack and ship everything. And like after coming home from, an 8 to 5 and having to pack and ship all these orders, you're like, I'll just save it for tomorrow. Well, enough of those, you'll get your account suspended. So that ended up happening. And my account was suspended for probably about 6 months. And I ended up getting it back. And that's kind of when eBay dropshipping came into the picture. And, I was like, well, I've already sold on eBay. I've already got, my feedback. My limits were, I want to say my limits at the time were probably maybe 1.2 million. Like after they reinstated my account, wow, they were like, here's 1.2 million in in what you can do. So I was like, all right, well, let me just try. So I started listening to a podcast. The guy's name was Mike Davis. That was the guy's name, whose podcast I had listened to, and I want to say even Tyler was on his podcast a couple times. And so from there, I had moved on to YouTube, right? And I found, I found Mark, Paul, Tyler, Tom, and just started just consuming like as much content as I could. And I probably did that for about a week and a half. I mean, I was just nonstop on my lunch break. I was an account manager slash territory manager, so I did a lot of driving. So I was just listening to YouTube videos just constantly in the car on my way to meetings. And after probably about a week or so, I listed my first item. It sold probably like 5 or 7 days later, and I was like, oh shit, like it does work. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
at that time, like I had already gone through 2 Shopify stores, and I had made sales and I had quote unquote success, but really it wasn't success because of the amount of money that it cost, right, to build up the amount of traffic. So you're kind of hung on the whole Shopify dream and like, okay, this is another one. But the cool thing was I was already familiar with eBay, and I think that's why there was a little less reservation in regards to getting started with drop shipping. And I mean, 5 days after the item sold, I was like, cool, you know. And it's funny because even before I started drop shipping off of Amazon and Walmart, I was actually wholesale drop shipping for a local supplier where I live. But the pricing wasn't right. They did sell, but not as much as they could have if the pricing was there. So, you know, when I figured out about, you know, online arbitrage, I was like, all right, this could work, you know, like it all made sense to me, if you will. So it's, you know, the rest is history, man.
Gotcha, man. That's good. That's awesome. Like you had some experience coming into the gate, so that's always a plus, man. For me, like eBay drop shipping was just happened out of nowhere. Like I said, probably in a previous video, I had the spectacular luck, I guess you want to call it, where I got dropped off at like a towing company that my dad knew. And he was like, "Oh, I was selling a bunch of stuff, like flipping it through Gary Vaynerchuk's like 2017 flip challenge, right?"
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, so I was big into it and I was killing it. I was literally killing it, and it was fucking awesome. I was really doing good because I was utilizing Facebook Marketplace. And a lot of people didn't understand Facebook Marketplace at the time, but I was like, yo, this shit is better than
I
Craigslist.
made so much money on Marketplace, bro.
Oh my God, it's crazy. Like, I love the Marketplace. I haven't been on it in a while, but I did really good. So what I would do is I would buy a bunch of like items that I would use this program. I don't even have it on my phone anymore. I have to look it up, but it was like Terapeak back in the day before I learned about
I've
uh,
heard of that.
yeah, Terapeak is like one of the ones I would use before I heard about Zik Analytics, and I would research products. And it would tell me like the rank and like how well it would sell and what the average profit margin was. So I'd go out and I'd research these products before I bought them, and I would just resell them, and I would just make a killing. So then my dad like happened to drop me off at like one of his buddies who owned a towing company, and they're really great guys. I talk to them still, but I don't work for them anymore. I kind of just went my own separate way. It was getting like too much, but I actually had the opportunity when I got over there to sell a wrecker. So that was the first thing I sold. I sold a $65,000 car in under a week, or a truck, if you want to call it, tow truck, in under a week. So that was like my biggest sale, and I did it on eBay. So like that was like when I was first getting started. I only moved like, I don't know, maybe 15 products on eBay, and then the next thing I was doing was eBay Motors. So it got totally wild real quick, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy cow. So that happened with me, and that's how I got involved with eBay. And later on, I learned about drop shipping probably through Andra's course. I found it, and I knew that I wanted to join some type of eBay online arbitrage. And I was like, okay, so that's how I got started over there. His course kept popping up all over the place, and I was like, yeah, this seems like legit. I got to join it. Other than that, it seems like we lost Anthony for a sec. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk to you guys a little bit more about my flagged account, and then I'll see if I can get Anthony back on. Oh, he's still here. All right, and
There
I
it is.
thought I lost you for a sec, man.
Yeah, no, it cut off. No, you're good. But yeah, that's a lot of risk. You know what I mean? Like to actually buy stuff before selling it.
Yeah, let me tell you this. So it was crazy with the towing company. So it was wild, man. So these guys who bought it lived in Miami. They drove up in a regular truck and they had never driven a tow truck. It was nuts. I was like, are you serious? Like, you're just gonna buy this and like somehow figure it out on the way home back to Miami? I'm in New York. Like, how are you gonna figure this out? And like, they were like, yeah, like we're just gonna do this. I was like, all right, whatever. Like, just pay us.
Oh my
That was
God.
it. We just made sure we got the money, and I was like, dude, I was like, they gave you the money. I'm out. I'm good. I did my end right here. So I was like, this is closed. This is closed on my end. So it was cool. I walked away with like 4% profit on that, so that was pretty legit.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to say for everybody who's listening and getting this far, thank you for listening. If you could do us a favor and just like and subscribe the video. And I want to drop another cool piece of information that I think you guys should really know. If you happen to be in New York City, which is really close to me, and I'd love to fucking, hang out or talk, fucking drop shipping or business, because that's my fucking hobby. That's my passion. I love it. But if you are close to New York City, on March 3rd, Paul J. Lipsky, the owner of Titans Tribe, is going to be having a meetup over in New York City. So you have to go and register for it. I could probably find a link and drop it here if anybody's interested in that, but it's going to be huge. I went to the last one. I had a blast. It was a really good time. There were a lot of people there, a lot of new drop shippers, a lot of top drop shippers. Just to give you a few names of people who are going to be there, Tyler Phillips is going to be there. I'm going to be there. Rico is going to be there. Rico's a beast. He actually hooked me up with the computer that's sitting next to me because I bought his Amazon course. It's fire. I'm still getting into it. I just got to get all my sales tax stuff lined up and done. And I'm trying to think. I know there's somebody else. And Paul, of course, is going to be there. It's going to be a really good time. So if you guys have that opportunity or live close by or want to make the trip, March 3rd. It's on a Sunday, I believe, and if it's worth it to go. You're going to get a lot of information. You're going to be with the top people. These are like the minds and the network that you guys want to associate yourself with right here. And I'm only saying that because I'll drop another story on you real quick. I have had the privilege of meeting a lot of top business owners throughout my entrepreneurial journey. I don't know why, but I kind of just gravitate that way. Like I said before, I had the privilege of selling a $65,000 record. Like, not many people have that under their resume or can say that. And I got fortunate enough because my dad knew somebody, and my dad pretty much put me in this position because he thought I was going to start selling headlights and rims and grills for like trucks that were like either old or just like ready to flip. But it just so happened this guy gave me a huge opportunity and he asked me to sell a record, and I did it. So these opportunities persist themselves pretty often with me. I don't know why, it just happens, okay? So with what I'm saying is, Ty says, great dad. Thanks, man. Yeah, he is pretty good. So with that being said, I have had the option to meet a couple of big time entrepreneurs. I've been able to meet Andrew Metal. Andrew Metal is a writer for Entrepreneur Magazine. I was really connected with him about a year ago. I'm still really good friends with him. He's doing his thing. He's killing it right now. He's one of my boys, and I had the opportunity of working with him when I was creating an app back in the day. The app, unfortunately, it was never finished, unfortunately for me, but we will work on more stuff in the future, and I still have him as a close friend, and I'm going to definitely reach out to him in the future. Along with that, I had the opportunity, and I blew this opportunity. So this is what I just want to talk to you about. And it drives me absolutely crazy. I stay in direct contact with Tom all the time. Tom is one of my boys, and you don't have many entrepreneurial friends that often when you're pursuing entrepreneurship. A lot of people find it stressful. It's a hard thing to grasp, and it takes a lot of commitment, a lot of drive, and a lot of determination. And a lot of people, they just want to do their day-by-day thing, get by, and that's it. And that's totally fine. So finding people who are in the dropshipping community sometimes can be hard to come by, especially for people that I know. Not a lot of my friends like to do it, but I've just always been entrepreneurial mindset. I've always had the drive to go for it, and I've always had the motivation. So I gravitate towards it, just in my DNA. I just happen to go towards it, okay? With that being said, I had the opportunity to meet Arnie Giske before he became famous, okay? So Arnie Giske is actually a a guy who is able to create large Facebook groups. So he teaches people how to own and operate like hundreds, like I don't know if it's 100,000, but 10,000 people Facebook groups and manage them and have like multiples of them to build like a network of people, which is absolutely insane if you think about it. Like you're like, yeah, okay, starting a Facebook group isn't that hard. Well, managing one with over 10,000 people is a very difficult task, okay? And Arnie Giske happens to be able to do this. So I'm going to tell you a story. So when I was working back with Arnie Giske back in the day, Arnie Giske, he used to call me up and we used to talk on the phone. This is before he was even big. And I was working with a couple other people and we were building an app and I fucked up on a deal. So what I was going to do with Arnie was I told him how to, I promised him a deal for one of my apps, and we found out that the price was going to be too low and we weren't going to make any money on it. And I renegotiated the deal later on with him. And it was a fucked up thing on my part because I should have just took the loss and I should have just, you know, kept the deal as it was because we had already talked about it and then we had already established like it was going to be what it was. I went back, I tried to change it on him, and we kind of had a falling out, but I still follow him to this day. I haven't hit him up in a while, but if he's watching this, I hope he's doing the best that he's ever done, and I apologize for that. And that was a learning experience for me. What I'm trying to tell you is stay associated and listen and learn to everybody that you can. And if you feel like you're going to lose in a certain situation, sometimes just take the loss because those losses will build a greater connection for you overall. And you never know which connection that you have which will take you further. Okay. And that goes throughout life. Like you just don't know. As you go through life, you'll meet different types of people and you may judge a book by its cover and you may say like, oh, this individual doesn't have what it takes to go where they need to go. But you may not understand the capability of that person all in one shot is what I'm trying to say. Arnie Giske was just starting out. So was I back in the day. We were getting to know each other. He was just developing his business model. It was starting to come into place. And I didn't realize how much of a hustler he was, how much of a pusher he was. And he took off. And now he gets to travel the world, which is something that I'm jealous of, but I know that I'll get to it one day and I would love to do it. And I just like, I watch all his videos, I see all his pictures everywhere and I'm like, oh, I just want to do that. Like that looks so awesome. Like all the places he's been to and everything. And I regret what I had done back in the day. But for me, it was a learning experience. I just want to throw that out to you guys. Like, look, opportunities come and go. You never know when they're going to be prevalent or when they're going to show up. Be kind to everybody you meet, be understanding, and sometimes you have to take a loss. So that's one thing I just wanted to drop in here and just to let you guys know about. So without me going off and jabbering about anything else right now, let's get back to Anthony. So Anthony, now that I went off on a tangent, what I want to ask you.
Yeah, no, I love the story, man. So no worries.
So what I wanted to ask you is, so now that you're running your dropshipping store and we know that it's flagged, we know that it's been throttled, and we still see that you're growing it and you're still getting your sales. Like, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about what I told you today about how eBay is going to move in the future? Like, I want to know what your game plan is moving forward, and then I'll talk about mine. And I'm just really eager because you're on the same page as me, and we're kind of still like the lone wolves in this, trying to keep some of these dead accounts working. If you want to say dead account or flagged account, whichever one you want to go by, but this takes persistence, this takes time, this takes determination. Like these things are very hard to work, and we're just showing you like how hard and how bad our drive is for it, I think, by doing this. We're not following the right now. We're actually, I'm pretty sure Anthony's probably getting ready to start manual stores and wholesale drop shipping as we talk, but I'd like to see how he's pursuing this and what he is trying to do in the future. So Anthony, hit me with what you got, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you know, that's so the way I kind of approach this is I don't approach it as eBay drop shipping or online arbitrage, right? There's no label to what it is that I'm trying to do. I've simply found a business that works for me right now, And because it's working, I'm doing everything that I can to try to grow that business, right? That includes watching additional YouTube videos. That includes, reaching out to people like you and other drop shippers who maybe aren't even doing it anymore because they're focused on other things. And for me, that's okay. Like, that's their path. They've essentially been even doing it for longer, right? So maybe they're just kind of outgrown. Maybe they've outgrown this particular business model. That's what I want to call it, is business model, right? Not eBay drop shipping, not arbitrage, not, they've potentially just outgrown this particular business model. For me, I haven't. And the only thing that I see right now, as far as the trend, when you're talking about numbers and you're talking about growth in a business, is everything is trending upwards right now. So there's really no reason for me to do anything different other than try to figure out different strategies in order to grow my store. And that's been creating variation listings. That's been creating bundle listings. That means dropping my margins from 4% to 2% in order to get it on the back end. Like, those are risks as a business owner, especially when you're in an extremely competitive industry like this, because there's people who are selling below profit, right? They maybe have the resources or the know-how to do those certain things, and they've been able to gain that advantage in regards to growing their store. For me, I'm not there yet. I may be, but for right now, it's all about figuring out a way to continue to grow my store. Because if I look at it this way, like, let's say I sold at zero profit, right? After fees, after everything, let's say I went from 4 to 2 to 0. The constant remains the 5%, right? Now, if you're able to 5% cash back on my American Express for Amazon is what I'm referring to, because that's essentially where 95% of my sales come from. So that remains constant. Now, if you're able to double and triple and quadruple your sales over the course of 3-4 months, then you're going to go from 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 to 60, right? And now you're making a cumulative 5% back on a 60,000 as opposed to 20,000. And the risk of that is you might take losses on particular sales, right? You might, there's errors with listings. There's just losses in any business to be accounted for. That's the risk. But if you make these changes and you start to see that your business is trending upwards, then capitalize on that.
Right.
Stop worrying about what you're doing wrong and capitalize on what you're doing right. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing in this particular industry itself, is they're saying, this is happening with eBay. This is happening with eBay. Now eBay, it's in their terms of service. People are losing their top rated status. It's like, okay, that is happening. Those things are happening, right? So it's, are you going to bail out and not deal with it anymore? Are you going to figure out a way to comply with the TOS that eBay is putting out? Or are you just going to continue to do what you're doing, right? And that's what I've chosen to do. Now, here's the thing I feel is interesting about the whole, not even eBay dropship community, about the e-commerce community as a whole, right? They hear like these key indicators, low startup cost, low barrier to entry, no holding inventory, like easy suppliers, right? When it comes to all of this types, high margins. And they buy into that concept and into that idea of what it means to make a quick sale or a quick dollar, as opposed to being like a true business owner, a true entrepreneur, and going into this thing thinking, well, if they can do it, how can I do it better? You know, that's my whole thing. Not like, oh, how can I do this? Like, how can I do it better? Because if they're doing it, I sure as hell can do it as well, right? So I think once they get into it, and then they're spending like, and you and me know, right? On the low end, they're probably spending $300 to $500 a month. On
Yeah.
the low end, right? Of monthly, you know, costs or whatnot. And they're like, well, I'm only making 20 bucks a month. I'm only making 80 bucks a month. You know, it's, you know, $12 a day profit I'm making, you know, this, that. But it's like, number one, like, what true investment did you put into this? None, right? And really, you're doing something that is in a, you know, Rico talks about it all the time. It's a low hanging fruit. And that's why everybody's bobbing after that low hanging apple, you know, because they think that it's extremely easy. Then they get into it. They're spending a couple $100 a month. eBay changes their terms of service or their algorithm. And they're like, oh, fuck, eBay dropshipping doesn't work. Like, it was all a hack, you know? And it's just like, no, it does. But you got to continue to work through your business, right? And for me, I'll say like eBay doesn't work when I get suspended, because for me at that point, it won't have worked, right? Like, it won't be working, you know, but I can't say that in general, eBay dropshipping, online arbitrage doesn't work. Like, I wouldn't be able to say that, because then there would be people like you who are still selling. It's just, that's my situation. And people need to stop generalizing other people's situations and making it theirs, and focus on running your business, you know. And that's the separation between the people in this industry and actual entrepreneurs who want to start here and grow to bigger endeavors.
Yo, I totally agree with that. To piggyback on what you were saying, like, all of a sudden, all right, there's another story that comes to mind, and this may play out to a bunch of you guys, but I just wanted to hit up, yo, Claire Davidson, thank you for joining us. Lazy Abram, thanks for joining us. Ty, thanks for being here too. But I wanted to chime in.
What up?
So yeah, Anthony says what's up too. So Claire was asking, yo, just chimed in, but are y'all still focusing on flagged API accounts, or have manual stores now, or both? So that is a great question. And I want to say right now we're mainly focusing on our flagged eBay accounts, and I'm going to get to this right now. So what has been happening to me is I've kind of been in a little stagnant place. Like, I'm ready to move forward and I'm ready to push, okay? But there's one thing that's holding me back. I got hit with an MCO 1.1 restriction, okay? And one of my other main guys that I talked to who got hit with the same one. So it was so dumb. I have no idea what caused this MCO 1.1 restriction, okay? So it got rid of my smaller account. And this was way, I want to say it was like November, I want to say this happened. And I was trying for like a month and a half to get it back, and I just couldn't get it back for whatever reason. However, I've been able to start another store since then, okay? While being able to start another store, I never pushed it to see if I can get it past 10 items. I did try to drop ship from Amazon, okay? So I was pushing it with eBay. I was like, are they really, what are they going to do here? Let me just see if I can, like, push back a little bit. So I'm always one where I'm like, I'll push if you push me, but like, if you push me even harder, I'm like, let me see what I can do here before I push you back again, okay? So that's what happened with me. So eBay limited me. They didn't let me get any more limits. However, on my flagged, not on my flags, on my MCO 1.1 account, I'm limited to 0. I can list 0 items. On my one account that I got hit with, the one recently I just started, like, I don't have a listing limit of 0, but I do have to call into eBay. And I was kind of like nervous of myself. I'm like, I don't know how to go about this right now. Like, should I bring up that my one account got MCO 1.1? So I was thinking about it today, and I'm just like, I'm thinking and I'm thinking and I'm thinking and I'm thinking and I'm thinking. And I'm like, I'm not doing, but I'm thinking. And like, that's what I just realized. I had, what is the word for it? It's analysis paralysis, okay? So like, you're just thinking and you're not doing. And then I came to it again today. So like, I was like, like, this is getting confusing. Like, this is getting hard right now. Like, what angle should I take with this, okay? So then I had something that popped into my head, and I think most military individuals will understand this. I have never been in the military. I tried to get in. Unfortunately, I could not. Health, medical conditions, and it was retarded too with that one too. If I bring it up down the future, I've had a series of bad luck. So if I brought that up, you'd be like, what the hell? Like almost all my family is like straight up military, and like I'm built to be in the military, but it just never happened for whatever reason. So with that being said, I am thinking of a concept where what I heard, I don't know if it's true, but I know that what I've heard was like there's this bell that they have in the middle of boot camp that they tell everybody they're allowed to ring if they want to go home, if it gets too hard. And I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Like you can get through this. You know that? Like you can get through this. Are you going to ring the fucking bell and go home like, you know, like and go cry about it? And like complain that you're not satisfied where you are and like you can't fix what's going on and now you're back to square one? Or are you just going to try and muscle your way through it? And you got that little bell right there, but that little bell needs to be your constant reminder in your head telling you to keep pushing forward. And it just, boom, it popped into my head today. And I was like, yo, that is like a no-brainer right there. I was like, I know what I want and I know I'm going to keep grinding for it. And like, it just was like, it just popped out of my head from nowhere. And then one other thing popped into my head. And I know I'm like being like, I'm telling all these stories and shit like that, but sometimes like these things help. And like, for me, they just connect. And
absolutely.
Like,
yeah.
This other story just popped into my head too. Like simple words. And it was just like, there's always a fucking way. There's always a fucking way. Like that's what it is. And like, so I had the privilege of being in a group with Nahar before, and Nahar comes in, and Nahar is the owner of Zik. Like I got pretty good connections. Like I'm not lying to you guys. I talk with a lot of
He's legit, man. Nahar's legit.
Yeah, and like I talk with like tons of other people, and I get information on a daily basis. I'm not here bullshitting. Like I literally work a 9 to 5 plus like 4 hours of overtime, literally Monday through Friday. I finally took off a weekend because I got to get sales tax all caught up before the fucking sales tax is due. And I want to make sure 100% that this video or my accounting is going to be on spot so I can give you guys an accurate depiction of what my sales have been like in the last 30 days or 28 since it's February. So I want to show you like if it's going to be profitable or if it's not. And I've been doing the accounting every single day. I'm teaching my VAs. I'm in the process of it right now. Okay. So I'm working.
I'm not there yet, man. So that like that's that's dope.
Yeah, man. It's hard.
I need to be there though.
I'll push you, bro. That's why I'm here. Like I surround myself with people who are here to like push. Like I'm here to push. Like I'm not gonna give up. Like there's so many reasons to give up, and like I just don't want any of them because the one thing that I do want is over here, and the only way to get to that is to muscle through this. Okay, like you got to get through the woods to get to the fucking other side. That's what it is. And unfortunately, it's not all gonna be fucking roses and daisies the whole time. Things change, okay? With that being said, I'm going to give you another piece of advice. You need to diversify, okay? With that being said, I was trying to diversify with my smaller account. I figured if I had 2 stores, we could be more profitable. Those profits could then be used to build other sustainable business, okay? You need to understand dropshipping right now is a very volatile business model, okay? It's volatile. Things change. There's a lot of moving parts. Like I said earlier today, eBay's senior vice president just got let go like the other day. The EU market has just started doing more regulations that are actually able to help small sellers on the marketplace, okay? These are going into place into the EU. Do I know if they're coming into place in in America or in any other region? Not yet. I don't know. These articles are just coming out, and I'm giving you guys the information as it's coming to me. You got another meetup coming up with some top dropshippers who don't even work anymore. They just work from home, and they're killing it right now. And I'm pretty sure that's mostly why we're all doing this business model, is to get into some kind of realm where we could just work online, okay? So with that being said, what I'm just trying to say is you need to be diversified. If you feel that eBay is changing too much for you to handle, that's okay. I just want you to realize you shouldn't give up, but you should diversify yourself. Maybe try Amazon for a little bit, okay? There's a bunch of new courses that are out right now. I myself think it is a great decision to invest in a course to get that learning curve down ahead of time. look, like I've tried it. I actually was doing manual drop shipping before I bought a course to do regular drop shipping. And let me tell you what happened, okay? I was another story. I got tons of them, man. So I'm just dropping these stories right now.
Yeah, no,
But
bring it.
what happened with me was I started manually drop shipping, and I was doing it from, I believe, Walmart, okay? Because I had watched a YouTuber talk about drop shipping before, and it wasn't Andre, it was some other guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's like a Filipino guy, and he like travels the world. He was like Mike something, and like he seems like he had everything, and I was like, oh, that seems cool. Like, let me just give it a shot. And I was like, all right. So I was like, I think I can do this. So I copied a whole entire listing from Walmart, and I had figured like what would sell. And I thought small refrigerators would be the best thing. And I started out manually drop shipping, so I know how to do it. So I was like, all right, so let me try this. The one thing I forgot to set up was my restrictions with where my items could go. So I set it at like a decent price where I was like, yo, I'm about to turn a profit. It's going to be awesome. So this time I was at work, and all of a sudden my phone is like blowing up when I come out for break. It's like 5, 6 sales. And I'm just like, yes, I'm pumped. Like, this is actually working. And then where are they going? They're going to fucking Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, yeah.
I'm shipping all this stuff to Puerto Rico right now. Like, how am I gonna get this over there? So I'm freaking out. I'm like freaking out. And like, luckily, I was able to shut everything down real quick and like get rid of like those few listings. I think I had 4 up at the time, but I was still killing it. All right, like I was still selling. This is manually. This is like the first time I jumped onto eBay. This was not right now, but manually, I would say is a way that I would go and I would diversify to. If your drop shipping store is not, you don't feel like it's sustainable, or if it's flagged right now, it is never a bad idea to diversify. And I'm not going to stop you or tell you to not do that. And I'm not going to tell you that all flagged accounts are profitable, because sometimes they're not. And you really got to know how to do your accounting. And that is going to be my next video. And I'm going to show you guys like how, if I am even profitable right now. I'm fortunate enough to have a backup job where I have extra streams of income coming in, so I can cover my ass in case we're not. So this is where we're double checking right now, okay? But I got to make sure, and I would love to deliver this information to you guys. With that being said, 100% try to learn how to do a manual store. All the new videos are coming out right now. Maybe if you don't feel like going through eBay right now and you feel like it's too volatile of a market, try to go through Amazon. However, I believe that Amazon will become a volatile market as well, because your boy Jeff Bezos just got a major fucking divorce, which he was a dumbass for. But like, you got to be open to that too. So there may be changes coming with Amazon as well in the future. I don't know how long from now, but you got to understand that as well. And another one you could look into, Jason also is talking about wholesaling. Wholesaling is another way to go. Okay, so those are your 3 options right there. And if you're not like me and you haven't gotten hit with the MCO11 and you don't have analysis paralysis, which I'm beating the crap out of today, and I'm actually getting shit done because I'm tired of it, and I'm just like, yo, it's either, for me, you gotta kind of switch it up too and be like, it's either sink or swim. Like, what's gonna happen? Like, it's either this is gonna get shut down and I'm gonna figure a way how to get back into this because I've turned profit before. I did $500,000 in sales. Like, I know how to do this. So I'm either gonna figure out another way and I'm gonna jump back into this because, you know, it's profitable, and profit is profit. No matter if you turn in like $5 or $100,000, like, profit is profit. Any extra income that you can set aside is always a positive, okay? No matter how hard you worked for it, although at the end of the day, you want to work less and make more. Understandably, everybody wants to do that. Sometimes the work comes up front. Sometimes it's on a consistent basis, okay? But profit is profit, and you need to understand that. You also need to diversify. Don't be afraid to diversify and keep your sales going. Now, talking about my flagged account again, recently in the past 2 days, from what it seems, sales have been on a decline, okay? So I had the word about a few weeks ago.
No offense, but that's a relief.
Yeah. Totally. I got you, man. Yo, I'm keeping it real. I always keep it real, okay? So I'm never afraid to talk about this stuff. And a lot of other sellers that I had talked with had their sales decrease, okay? It's only been for 1 day, and I've witnessed waves like this before. Don't freak out, okay? Don't freak out. Sometimes it happens, but just like, if you feel like, oh shit, like something's hitting the fan, like take a break. Take a break. Go outside. It's okay. It's gonna be
Yeah.
okay. Okay. You're
I
gonna
want to touch on that too when you're done.
Sure. You're gonna be okay. All right. Just take a breather and come back to this. Okay. It's a business. Things change rapidly. Your expectations and assumptions sometimes don't always come to fruition. Okay. So with that being said, what I'm trying to say is I had a decrease in my sales. I had gotten the word a little while ago. Let me just fix my camera here. I had gotten the word a little while ago that promoted listings were starting to work again. So I implemented this strategy on one of my accounts, and it was working for a little bit. Recently, they just started to take a decline again. But this is what testing is. This is why I'm saying you have to diversify. Not everything is always going to work. You got to be open-minded, and you got to be willing to make those changes. What I've come to find out is that eBay is an ever-changing, rapid business, okay? And I know I'm on a little tangent right here, but like just hear me out, okay? I'm just trying to give you everything that's inside my head to help you guys better yourselves, okay? And what I'm trying to say is it's a fast-paced industry, and it'll catch up with itself. And just like how a stock market fluctuates, where they have ups and downs, of course, eBay wants more sales and doesn't want to be going down, okay? Even if that means that some of your listings or a majority of your listings are getting less views. They're going to figure out how to make more money, okay? Does that affect you? It does. Sometimes it'll come back and it'll be positive effects for you. Like what's going on in the EU right now. I'm sure regulations are going to start coming into place in America as well. They probably just have to test it out in the EU first to see how it is and what happens with these and how these get regulated, okay? So you got to think optimistically. Like, stop saying the fucking cup is half full, like, or half empty. It's half full. Like, it's you drank that water. You got to believe you drank that water. You're going to get more water out of it. Even when that thing is empty, you can put more water in it, okay? That's how you got to think. You got to, like, keep your mind positive. If you're thinking about this negative shit, you're only going to drag yourself down. You're going to cause yourself to get stuck in a rut anyways. Like, you don't want to do that. You want to have a powerful mindset. Like, nothing can stop you. You got to fluctuate and you got to be able to change your direction at any moment. You got to be understanding and you got to grasp the concept that things change, okay? This is what I'm learning. This is what I'm delivering to you. This is what I've seen many, many times play out. And if you catch a trend on the ass end, good thing you fucking caught it. That's how you got to think, okay? Maybe one business was going out the way, all right? But you have the opportunity now where these big guys don't want to fucking their money stream going away. They're going to figure out another opportunity. Follow where it's going. Catch it on the in wave now, all right? One's going out the door, another one's coming in. And if you want to talk about it, it seems like flagged accounts may be going out, but manual accounts may be coming in. So that's what I'm trying to say here. So I'm going to hand it over to Anthony, and I'm going to take a look at what everybody's been posting over here. I've just been focused. I just want to deliver that message to you guys. So I'm going to hand it off to Anthony. I would love to hear what he's got to say, and we're just going to keep it positive.
Yeah, man. No, I mean, first and foremost, I want to say I love the fact that, you talk about the decline in sales. You talk about how having a flagged account and putting in full-time work on eBay is extremely rough, man. Like, and I'll say that, like, it's fucking rough right now. Because of the amount of time that I'm having to put in regards to, making sure that everything is close to perfect as possible. Otherwise, you're losing money, right? So going back to sales, so I'm on, let's see, on Saturday the 9th, I did about 1,500. And then from there, I mean, I tanked. So I did a little less than 1,000 on Sunday. Then I dropped down to less than 700 on Monday. And then I think my lowest day was probably like 650. So I went from averaging anywhere from like $1,200 to $1,800 in sales a day, dropping down to like 600. And that's over the course of the past few days, right? And so I'm like, like my first reaction is, okay, what have I done differently in my store? Like what are some things that I need to look into, you know? And so it's not like my first reaction isn't, oh shit, it's, you know, like, you know, here it comes. You know, it's like, what are things that I've done differently? So when I think about things like that, I think back to the fact that I've been adding add-on items as of the past probably 2 weeks, right? Which is average add-on item is probably like $5, $6, right? A sale. So I'm probably still selling the same amount of items, still making the same amount of transactions, but because my average price is a lot lower, with more focus on adding the add-on items, that's going to drive obviously my overall sales down. And so those are just things that go through my head, right? But then when I think about that, I'm like, okay, well, now I'm sacrificing sales, but now my sell-through rate has gone from 2% to 10%, you know, so 5 times, because obviously add-on items sell a lot better, right? And so the idea is, okay, grow the sell-through rate, even with having bulk listings, because you'll see a lot of people who are under 5% sell-through rate who bulk list, right? Who are doing the same method that I'm doing. So so I use Yabale, and Yabale is integrated with Arbaship. Arbaship has the ability now to, I don't know if you know, but to actually place orders for add-on items.
Fire.
So I'm going to be making a video about this. So I've been doing that, right, to help increase my sell-through rate. You know, so strategy-wise, it's probably not smart to make a full shift over to only listing add-on items, because now you're going to sell 100 items at you're going to sell 100 units a day at like $3 a unit. Not worth your time. You know what I mean? So strategy wise, but it increases my sell-through rate, and in theory, an increased sell-through rate will lead to increased impressions, so on and so forth, right? And so those are the different things that I do with my business. Like, people are always asking, and it's really hard to like comment specifically what I'm doing, right, in order to give you like the perspective, the context. But these are the different things that I'm doing. So I saw Tyler had mentioned, like, he used to freak out when sales would drop. Like, the past couple of days I've been like kind of shitting myself, you know what I mean? Because I'm like there's a lot of like time and stuff invested. But then you take a step back, right? I've been meditating lately, so it's been helping me. You take a step back and you kind of think of like, what have you done? Like, what are actions that me as the owner of this business, what have I done to potentially affect those sales, right? Don't just look at eBay and say eBay is, you know, flagging my account. They're fucking me, like, whatever you want to say. Look at yourself first. Look at what you're doing, right? Don't look at what other people are doing on YouTube. Don't look at what eBay is doing with their algorithm, because that's going to continue to change. Like you said, eBay is looking for more ways to find new buyers, to increase sales. Why would they purposely want to drop your sales, right? Like, you're going to tell me that they're going to miss out on $50,000 a month per seller, right? If they essentially, like, let's just say they're doing, you know, my numbers or better, they're not going to do that to their business, right? You understand that terms of service are changing, and eventually eBay might phase out all online arbitrage. That might very well be a possibility. But that's up to you to see it now, and to either take advantage of what's happening or to pivot and to do something else, right? Gary Vaynerchuk talks a lot about Toys R Us and, you know, these big box stores that go out of business, right? They don't go out of business because sales just all of a sudden went down. They go out of business because they're not keeping up with the consumer. They're not keeping up with the needs of what you know, people want. They're not changing. And if you're not going to change, the times are, and you're gonna get phased out naturally. Like, that's with anything. You have to continue to integrate. You have to continue to innovate and change your business with the different trends that you see, and stop thinking of a platform. Like, what if eBay wasn't there? What would you do? What would you do? Like, so stop blaming the platform for what's going on in your business. Because if the platform wasn't there in the first place, like, you wouldn't be there. So it was like, shut up. You know what I mean? And it's like, either put up or shut up, you know, is kind of what it is. And so for me, you know, just to tell you what my, so I'll tell you about a story that just happened that made me wanted to, like, I almost kamikazed myself, dude. Like, it was like the other night. So I got an email from Amazon saying there was a potential somebody trying to log into my account, whatever. Like, you know, like, I'm sure you've gotten that email, right, where they temporarily lock you out because your VA is probably logging in. They're wondering, like, why the fuck you logging in from the Philippines, like, whatever, like, whatever the case might be. So normally I've just been able to go in and verify my account, log back in, change my password, no big deal. Well, in this instance, I had to actually call Amazon. So Amazon actually had a problem with, they had a problem actually verifying my account. And I'm like, okay, like, what do I need to do? So they're like, well, we're going to send you an email. What's the phone? Like, obviously asking me all of the verification questions. And I answered them, and they're like, all right, cool. I'm going to send you this email. Go ahead and hit verify so we can verify your account. I'm like, okay. So I'm on the phone with the gal, and I'm like, all right, I clicked it. It says, thank you for verifying your account. And she's like, okay, now I have to call you with the verification code. Like, this is how the conversation goes. She's like, okay, now I have to call you. Now that you verified your account, now I have to call you to give you the verification code in order for you to log into your account. I'm like, okay, give me a number that has been on the account for at least 30 days. Okay, gave her the number. That is the number that I've set the account up with. And she goes, I'm sorry, sir. That number's only been on file for about 2 weeks now. She's like, do you have another number that's been on file for at least 30 days? I said, well, you could try this one. You could try this one. And she goes, I'm looking. And she goes, there's no number on here that's been on here for at least 30 days. I said, well, that's not possible. So she basically ends up telling me, like, I cannot grant you access to your account unless I'm able to contact you on a phone number that's been listed on the account for at least 30 days. So at this point, like, I see red and I start just like going off on the Amazon rep. And like, I start dropping like F-bombs. I'm like, I need to talk to your supervisor. Like, this is not acceptable. Like, I have thousands of dollars in pending orders that I can't see. Like, I have no idea like what's going on with these orders. So I'm just like, F this, F that. I want, like, and I'm just like, I don't want to. And so I finally told the lady, like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Like, I do not want to talk to you. Like, transfer me to. And so essentially she said, like, she basically said, like, tough shit, dude. Like, you're not getting back into your account. She goes, you can call us back on the 1st of March when this phone number has been on the account for at least 30 days. And I'm locked out of my account for the next 2 weeks. My Amazon business account that I literally make 95% of my orders on, I'm locked out. Like, I can't see pending orders. The only way that I can really look through them is I somehow have like access on my phone to like see the orders through the app. And so I probably had like over like 80 pending orders that I had to go through like individually to, was this place, was the order canceled? Because sometimes when they lock your account like that, they'll cancel pending orders. So I had to go through and see, like, has this shipped? Has this been ordered? Has it been canceled? And so me, like, thank God for my VAs, because without her, like, I legit don't know what I would have done. Like, I was sweating. I was like, it was bad, right? So it was like a really bad 10 minutes. Like, my wife walked out of the room from trying to put the baby to sleep. She's like, what the hell? Like, what's going on? Like, she's like looking at me, and like, I'm just like going off like on the phone. And she's like, what's so after about 10 minutes of, of that, I think I'm like, okay, like, what's the worst case scenario right now? Worst case scenario is that a percentage of those people are going to be like, where the hell is my item? And they'll email me, and they'll be like, oh, it didn't get ordered, like whatever. And then we'll find an excuse and say like, hey, it'll be there in 2 days, right? You get negative feedback. That was my biggest issue, because this past month, like, feedback has not been very good for me, for various reasons. So I was kind of like freaking out about that too, right? About the negative feedback, and how do we do this? And so I'm like the only real thing I'm losing here is time, in the fact that I have to go back and individually check these orders. Like, that was legit. Like, it was more a pain in the ass than anything. But really, there was no like true like repercussion, right, to that situation, because then I'm like, well, I got a fucking second account. Like, I'll just go and place orders on that account. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, you're just having to do more manual work. And the point for that story is, stop crying about what the problem is and find a solution, right? Like, imagine if I was like, oh, what do I do? Like, I can't get into my account until the 1st of March. What, like, I'm gonna shut my store down for 2 weeks? Like, no. You're gonna find you're gonna find a solution to that. And I tried to like paint that picture for as many people as possible, because they're so quick to jump on Facebook. They're so quick to jump into these groups, right? They're so quick to say like, hey, you're on YouTube, like, what do I do? Maybe that person hasn't come across the particular issue. Like, they can't help you, right? So it was rough, but my VA and I have been spending the past 2-3 days working through it, and now we're good. Like, things are back to normal, right? And it's just working through the issues. And to your point, what are you gonna do? You're gonna sink, or you're gonna swim?
Exactly.
Like, make your mind up.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's a great example, Anthony. Like, there's always a fucking way. You just made it happen. Like, with everything that was crashing down, and like the changes that you had to go through, you were able to make it and find something that works. So that's what I'm like, my main point to try and get across. Like, I'm not going to tell you that drop shipping with a flagged account is like a fucking walk in the park. It's very difficult. A lot of people aren't able to do it. And if you see that it's happening right now, like, there's other opportunities out there. Catch the ass end of the wave and know what's happening, and now grab the new wave. A lot of the new wave is with manually drop shipping. It's also having to do with wholesale drop shipping, and it may be an opportunity to look into Amazon. And that is exactly what I'm trying to say. And that is a fucking awesome story. With that being said, I want to drop in and just check out some of these comments right now. Look who's in here. We got Dropship Tyler. Yo, what up, Dropship Tyler?
What's Gucci, man?
Me and Ant say what's up. We're probably going to see you in New York City on March 3rd. Again, if
that's cool, man. That's cool that you guys are out there on the East Coast like that. You guys are able to just kind of, drive maybe a couple hours and meet up. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, you got to get over here. And like, if you could, man, like, if you can make it, it's March 3rd. I'm not, if you have the opportunity, or if you're off or you're free, man, shout out to Paul J. Lipsky for setting it up. He's so efficient. He gets things done. And he's someone I have been looking up to, and I'm just like, and I talk to Paul on a good regular basis too. I messaged Paul, and
nice.
we have a video coming out sometime soon. I don't know. We recorded it like about a week ago. He's just been.
I've never talked to him personally, but
yep, he's
I hear like the dude's legit for sure.
He's an awesome guy, and he puts everything, like, he's well put together, and like, he does everything. Like, it's very precise, and that's what I admire about that. Like, it's not half-assed. It's like, boom, like, here it is. It's delivered in like a nice solid foundation. It's easy to follow. It's a good format. You don't feel like you've been like, ripped off it all. I like that. And I got a couple of key guys who I keep in my like group that I like learning from like that. So I want to give a shout out to him. Paul, that's awesome. Keep those meetups coming. Keep killing it out there, you two, Dropship Tyler. And
Yeah,
Dropship
he's
Tyler,
done a couple of them already, huh?
yeah, he does.
That's awesome.
He's at one, so this is the second one.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Ty's going, Brian be taking in all that knowledge. Ty, you know me, man, 100% all day, every day. And Dropship Tyler's just answering him. Ty's like, we got Dropship T and Dropship T in the house. Let me see what else we got going on. Exactly. Profit is profit. Hell yeah. And Anthony's writing, rules are made to be broken. Let me see what else we got. Dropship Tyler, I used to freak the fuck out about sales decline. Yeah, I think everybody does. Like, nobody wants to see like a decline. We're all like, yeah, man, like I'm rooting for a decline. Like, yes, I can't wait to get another decline, you know. But
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure everybody thinks that way.
You know what? Because it's so with eBay, right? It's so arbitrary, and you're just like, you don't know what angle is coming. Right? You don't know what the reason is.
Yep, exactly. It's totally fucking anything can happen at any minute, and you could just like, it's a volatile place, and like you just got to be open to that. It's like the Wild West. You never know what the fuck's gonna happen. You could look at a rattlesnake over here, it could be a tumbleweed. You know, you never know what kind of day you're gonna have. So you just got to be prepared for everything.
And here's one thing that I'll say. I know there's been like a huge preach for wholesale drop shipping. Like I said, I have done it very vaguely in the past. I'm actually trying to set up another meeting with the company that I used to do it for, to sell a different selection of their actual items. But here's the thing, right? With online arbitrage, eBay drop shipping, whatever you want to call it. In order to be competitive, like you've got to become tax exempt anyway, right? You've got to, get the resale. You've got to essentially start a legit business. So if you're going to go that route, in my opinion, like the difference is Amazon and Walmart, right? Like that is legit the only difference. You probably have local suppliers around the corner from where you live who supply stuff to different wholesalers. I can almost guarantee you, like wherever you are right now, there is probably somebody within a 20-minute drive of you who would love for somebody like you to sell on Amazon or to sell on eBay. And it's probably just a small company, right? And so if you're that frantic or if you're that hesitant about starting like online arbitrage, then just go the extra mile and do the wholesale gig, because you're going to find yourself like more sustainable. You're going to find that you get more out of it as an individual, because you have to actually go out and talk to these people like a real business does, right? I think it's so funny how everyone's like, I'm going to switch over to wholesale. I'm going to switch over to wholesale. Like that's the whole buzz right now, right? But a lot of these people can't even get on the phone with eBay to ask about their account. They can't even call PayPal to see why this is happening or why that's happening. But you're going to cold call into a company and tell them like, oh, I want to go ahead and sell your product. Like, like let's think about what really needs to be done, And so like, I think it's worth it for you to put yourself like in that uncomfortable position of like needing to cold call those companies, because you're going to find yourself a lot better off. And that's coming from somebody who is doing online arbitrage 100%, right? Like I haven't even made the transition into wholesale yet, but that's happening very soon. And I'm very excited, especially with the new job that I'm starting on Monday.
Talk about that for a sec. How'd you get that job? That was sick.
Yeah. So it's working for an audio equipment manufacturer and distributor. They're local here. There's a lot of like living in the metro LA area. There's obviously a lot of distribution, right? So my job was I was a territory manager or an account manager, where my job was to go out to different companies and say like, hey, I think we can help you staff for X, Y, and Z positions. So like you would get to see different companies, different organizations, and a lot of them would be like manufacturers and distributors. So when I would source like open positions on Indeed or on LinkedIn or whatever. And I would like cold call into these companies saying, hey, I see you have this position open. I think we can help you fill it, blah, blah, blah. So there was an e-commerce position at this particular company that I just got hired at. There was an e-commerce position, and I had reached out to the HR gal, set a meeting, and said, I think we could help you fill it. Set the meeting, kind of slowly, moved. A couple months later, I actually ended up getting fired from that job.
Wow.
So I got fired because sometimes being like an entrepreneur with that mindset, having a lot of pride, you see things differently. And when you voice that opinion to the owner of a company, it don't fare too well with them. So be forewarned. But it was cool. Like it was mutual. Like it had been something that had been happening for a while. And so essentially, my wife wasn't working at the time. I was the sole provider for my wife and my daughter, and lost my job that day, like done. And I ended up going and driving Grubhub. I was driving Grubhub probably like 6-7 days a week for anywhere from like 8 to 10 hours a day. Just to maintain. And then eBay started coming, eBay was already there. Like I had probably been doing eBay for 3 months at that point. And so then it was like, it was full force at that point with eBay, right? So there was no losing at that point. And then things became less feasible. Living in California is expensive.
Yeah, I've read the
if you didn't know, it's expensive. And so it came time to like look for a job again. Well, I ended up seeing that job was still open on Indeed. So I reached out to the HR gal who I had a prior relationship with. And I said, hey, I would like to apply for this job. I sent her my resume, and I sent her probably like maybe 3 or 4 sentences about what I do on eBay at the bottom. So essentially, like at the bottom, there was like a little cover letter. And she sent it to the VP of sales and marketing, and he kicked it back saying like, no, I want somebody with more experience. And I'm like, fair enough. Like, right. My resume is sales, like that, customer service, like that was my background. So a couple months, maybe like a month or so later, I had seen a post that the company just released a new product. And that's when I ended up finding out who the actual manager was for that position. I added him on LinkedIn, and so the position, just to put in context, the position was for an e-commerce specialist. And it was selling their stuff on eBay, on Amazon, like on these commerce platforms, right?
Wow.
So, but they wanted people with, CPC experience, marketing, like they wanted a lot of experience. So what I did was I said, you know what? Like, I'm just going to email them myself. So I sent him a message on LinkedIn. I found their store. I looked up their store on eBay. I ran a Zik analytic report on their store in Zik, and I sent him the metrics of their store for the past 30 days. I said, look, here's how many items you have up. Here's your sell-through rate. Here's what your sales were. I was like, and here's what I'm doing. And at that point, I was doing like probably 20 plus a month. And I was like, this is what I'm doing. Like, I can help you grow this portion of the business. No response. Like, no response. I'm like, dude, like, I just thought that was a murder of a cover letter, right? I'm like, money, like, I'll get a job offer. Like, who does that? You know what I'm saying? So no response. Ended up following up, still no response. Then the HR lady hits me up on LinkedIn, and she's like, hey, we just opened up another position for an e-commerce associate. Are you interested? I'm like, yeah. Interviewed 2 days later, ended up meeting with the guy that I sent the message to. He's like, hey, I don't want you to think I was being an asshole. He's like, I just ran out of message credits on my LinkedIn profile.
Wow.
I was like, all right, that's cool. That's cool. So yeah, man, got myself to the table and I was really able to like really tell what my experience was and show my experience. And when they're throwing questions at me, I'm able to answer these questions based on my real life experience. And they're like, you can just kind of see like, okay, like the guy knows, right? And got the job offer, you know. And so that was like a real focal point because I've been real down lately, man. You know, being an entrepreneur, like relying on this, not having a job. You know, thankfully my wife is, you know, back to work now, but like it was you know, these past 6 months have honestly like, you know, been a personal like low point for me. You know, so to still be able to muster up the ability to push through and essentially get the job that I've been seeking for probably like 6 months now, is really reassuring for me. So yeah, man, it's awesome.
That's awesome, Anthony. That's a great story, and I'm glad that things are starting to work out, man. Like that's just how it goes to show, like determination, commitment, persistence. Like you just exemplified all of those, like in one, you know, small week of your life, and made it happen, and like exercised it throughout that whole month, and like you were able to make, you know, something come to fruition. That's unbelievable, man. Like, you know, that just goes to show me how much of a hustler you are. So like just always remember,
Right.
like in the back of your mind, like even when things get rough, just come back to this and be like, damn, I'm feeling down today, you know, like just always come back, like, you know, just remember there is a video out there where you fucking talked about how you fucking
Yeah.
goddamn fucking obstacle, bro. This is
For
what
sure, man.
so like now put into perspective what we're facing right now with eBay dropshipping, with the whole decline in how our sales used to be from what they are now. So to give you guys a perspective, you're talking to me. I was fortunate enough to do at least over $100,000 in a single month, okay, with eBay dropshipping. I am now down to doing around 47 to 50,000. That's a 50% cut. That's like an incredibly big loss from where I was at.
That's rough.
Yeah, I was taking home like close to like 3,000, a little bit more than 3,000, okay? And it was going good. And then all of a sudden, like major changes came into play. So you just have to adapt. And I'm not going to
You
sugarcoat
do.
it. And I'm not going to fucking just sit here and tell you like these flagged accounts are going to work forever. There's a possibility they're not, okay? And I'm going to show you guys at the probably the end of this month, maybe around like the 5th or the 6th, that's when everything for me kicks in, if I was profitable or if I wasn't. I've been doing the accounting for quite a while now, and I'm just making sure that everything's profitable, and that's how I'm going about this. So to recap, I'm going to get ready to close this video out in a few minutes, but I just want to go over a few things. I just want to show you guys like the points of this video. I also just want to ask, since I guys got you on the live, like if you guys got any last minute questions, throw them out there. I'll try my best to answer them.
Put them up. Put them up.
Exactly. If you guys got any, if you want to see it at a different time, if you want me to go live on a different time, I'm going to try and get a structure going so I can get more people in and have Anthony on again to talk to him more and see his progress or what he's doing now, the changes he's made. And I want to know what times work for you, what days work for you. I'm thinking about going live on Monday, doing it around like a 7 p.m. kind of thing, 6 p.m. kind of thing, just to keep the flow going and just have everybody aware. I'm going to be dropping another video soon, so probably tomorrow or this weekend I'll get that done. All right, so just to recap on everything, can you guys just give us a thumbs up or and hit that subscribe button? It would mean the world to me. I'm trying to grow this account and just help you guys as much as I can, as being honest and open and just giving you guys all the information I got. All right, so we learned that the SVP of eBay has been fired. That means that there's changes coming through. That also means that there's things in eBay that eBay is not happy with, and that they're not getting as much traffic or as much sales as they wanted to, okay? So that's point number one. That's a big issue that you need to be aware of, because that means that there are going to be changes, again, that come through eBay. Hopefully this year it'll be positive, right? They just did a really huge sweep last year, and they got rid of a lot of things that a lot of people were used to, and they're just trying to clean up their website. Second thing I want to tell you, eBay, in my mind, eBay isn't going anywhere. What they're going to do is they're going to restructure their organization, okay? You got to think of eBay, Amazon, and Walmart right now in a different kind of platform. So I think back in the day, most people were trying to create malls online. And I don't think they realize that these large wholesale companies or companies such as Walmart, Amazon, and eBay are these online malls. And the reason I'm saying that is because you have sellers inside of these marketplaces that sell. So your mall that you're going to isn't called like the Westgate Mall. It's called eBay. It's called Amazon. Okay, it's called Walmart. And I think people are gonna start more understanding that in the future. So eBay's main position to play right now, in my humble opinion, is to become a well-structured marketplace where consumers feel comfortable going into that mall to buy more items from their stores, okay? And that's what they're trying to do. Will it mean that some things are taken out? Of course it will. Will it mean that new things emerge and come into place? Of course it will. And they're just trying to make it an easier access for their consumers. It may look like they're trying to shank you and take everything you got from you right now, but they're just trying to make it easier for their consumers and to make it an easier platform, okay? So that's point number 2. Point number 3, the EU is changing their marketplace regulations right now for sellers, okay? And if you missed that before, that's what I'm talking about right now. So the EU was able to put this article out this week that was talking about how they're going to make a more transparent business model through the marketplace that shows the different types of traffic that's coming into each store, okay? So this is gonna get easier over time, especially if you're in the European Union. I don't know how it applies to the United Kingdom, or the United Kingdom marketplace for eBay, but I know, I'm assuming that these changes will dictate the way the marketplace moves in the future, because the EU is just trying to get everything established as it moves forward, okay? So that's point number 3 I wanted to go across. Point number 4 was that we are just telling you right now how we're doing with our eBay flagged accounts. I'm doing about $50,000 in sales right now. Anthony, how much did you say you were doing?
So like literally to date, last 31 days has been $38,186.
Oh, 38,000. So he's at 38,000. So now you understand what we're trying to say about that. I am still profitable as of right now. Does that mean in the next few days? I just talked about the dip before. There's been a dip that recently happened. For me, it was around 2 days ago, okay? So I'm talking about the dip as well. There has been a small dip. We're going to follow the trend. We're going to see what happens. Hopefully the wave comes back up, but you never know, okay? And my last and final piece of advice right now with this eBay flagged account that's been, that's been stagnant right now, is to always try another route. Okay, you got to diversify. If it's going to be on the eBay marketplace, try something new. Don't go directly back into drop shipping using APIs. If you already saw all those videos talking about how the APIs could be affecting your sales, okay, that would be my number 1 point. My next point would be to either change your marketplace, go to Amazon, check them out, see if you can do FBA. There's a tons of different business models that are still operational that have not been hit by this recent change, okay? So you have to be understanding of that, be willing to pivot, and just be willing to change. So those would be my points, and I just want to give it off to Anthony right now to see if he has any last words or anything else to say.
Yeah. I mean, you got to understand that, with any business, like you're reliant on certain industries, certain trends, things like that, right? Like demand is what creates businesses, essentially. So when things change on a platform that you're selling on, it's going to affect you. And the way around that is to create your own website and drive your own traffic and try to control that, right, to your best the ability. But I think, what you said, Brian, is try new things. Like the whole paralysis by analysis is not going to get you anywhere. I fall victim to it all the time. Brian's admitted to falling victim to it recently.
Yep.
And there are things that become so stressful that it sometimes becomes hard to see a positive outcome from that. Like it really does, and that's just the brutal truth. And when you go through those particular instances, like you don't necessarily have anyone to run to. And that's one thing that you got to understand. Like eBay dropship, Shopify dropship, e-commerce, like whatever it is, like I don't care what business. I don't care if you're working at a farmer's market. There are trials and tribulations. There are unaccountable variables. Like there are things that are going to happen. And if you truly are passionate about your business, and if you're truly passionate about the process of creating something successful, then you'll push through. You've got to think of all these industries, right? Like people laugh when I say like, oh, I take a 2% front end, and they're like, how, why, where, what? And I'm like, well, think about what Amazon was doing when they were making their transition from selling books to, trying to become more of a marketplace, right? I don't think they were profitable for quite some time. Like I think they struggled with profit, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
But
100%.
you can see what they were trying to do was gain the market share. And now look at Amazon.
Yeah.
You're not shopping anywhere else. If you're not leaving your house, you're shopping on Amazon. Like that's just the truth, right? So it's sacrifice, man, and it's growing that. It's growing that business and establishing it into something that could potentially be sustainable. Whether that's me building my eBay store and trying to transition that into a personal brand and then into wholesale drop shipping, who knows? But one thing that I know is that I'm made for this shit. Like I'm born for this. This is what I want to do. So if it fails tomorrow, I'm on to the next one. And believe me, you will fucking hear about it. Like it's going, you know what I mean? Like it's just me. Like it's what I love to do. So yeah, man, just follow your passion. Quick side note, my sister just joined a Facebook group a few months back, and it was a rock painting Facebook group, and she painted one rock, and then they'll go and hide it and put hints in the Facebook thing so people can go and find them, right? And she painted one rock. I think it was like Mario or something like that. And she fell in love with painting rocks. So my wife loves Harry Potter. So she just painted my wife like this big ass like Harry Potter rock with like the symbols and the crest and all this stuff. And she's 28 years old, had no idea she was an artist. She was like, I had no idea I had the ability. Like I had no idea. And I said, okay, like I love the fact that you found something that you're passionate about, but now that you found something you're good at and that you like, now I'm gonna push you to be great at it, because I don't give a fuck what it is. I don't care if it's painting rocks. I don't care if it's selling old newspapers. Like find something that you're passionate about and run with it, man.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because through that duration of passion, however long or short that window is, I can guarantee you that it will be such a fulfillment to yourself for however long you decide to do it for. I guarantee you will feel some sort of personal fulfillment that you did something for yourself. So
hell yeah. And that's awesome, Anthony. That's really good information to drop, man. So I wanted to say, like, thank you, Anthony, for being a part of this. You need to go follow his YouTube channel. Go ahead, shout it out, Anthony.
Yeah, so you can find my YouTube channel, The Entrepreneur. So it's like The Entrepreneur, just with the name, play on my name. And then you can also search my podcast, The Entrepreneur Podcast, on SoundCloud. I promise to release more episodes. I'm hoping to rip the audio from this and put it on there as well. So yeah, man, I think what we put out today was really good content, and I've been waiting to have this type of conversation for a while, man. So I appreciate you having me on.
I got you, man. We're gonna do this more often too. We'll get this going again.
For sure, man.
I just wanted to say that. Go follow Anthony, the Entrepreneur. Go follow his YouTube. Go check out that podcast, guys. It's going to be one of the first podcasts I've ever been on, so you should always check that out. And
is it really?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been on a podcast, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
And
that's dope.
Yeah, thanks, man. And if you guys could, just go ahead, hit that like button, hit that follow button. Like, we could really use it, appreciate it. play this shit back in your car when you're getting ready to go to work, and just like get it in your
Yes.
mind in case you're struggling at one point. Like, I'm here to show you guys what I'm doing. This is my journey. This is where I'm at, and this is how I'm pushing through. All right. Like, and just like I said, like, this is, you're seeing a hardship that we're going right now. This, not a lot of
Yeah.
people, not a lot of people come out and talk about this. All right. Not a lot of people are
Right.
actually gonna give you the insides of this. And I'm sure like a lot of people don't want to talk about it. Okay. But guess what? Like, I'm going to be real. This stuff happens. So like, I'll show you guys how we get through it, how I'm getting through it, my next steps I'm going to take, what happened, and like how to keep going. All right. This is just the documentation. I was fortunate enough to bring Anthony along. Anthony's still killing it too. And we're just going to keep pushing each other. Okay.
Yes,
So,
sir.
without further ado, thank you again, Anthony. And so all the YouTube subscribers out there and everybody who dropped in, thank you so much. And I hope to catch you guys soon. Peace.